Hello, everybody. So I have in front of me my copy of the Oxford Study Bible, which is a really good copy of the Bible if anyone wants to ever read the Bible, because it includes the Apocrypha and all other sorts of good stuff, very good notations and so on. And I'm just on the story. I'm on Genesis 8 dash or colon 5, and then this is the story of Noah and the flood. And there's a very intriguing passage in here. We're on 9 here. So we'll go into it. Okay, what does God say here? Be fruitful and increase in numbers and fill the earth. Fear and dread of you will come on all the animals of the earth, on all the birds of the air, on everything that moves on the ground, and all the fish in the sea. They are made subject to you. Every creature that lives and moves will be food for you. I give them all to you as I have given you every green plant. But you must never eat flesh with its life still in it. That is the blood. And further, for your lifeblood I shall demand satisfaction. From every animal I shall require it, and from human beings also I shall require satisfaction for the death of their fellows. Okay, so what this really amounts to, I think, relates to an earlier part of Genesis, which is of course the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. This notion that one may not eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And what would the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil amount to? Well, anything derived from animals. Or rather, to be more specific, I think anything derived from the act of killing. So, so we have in biblical sources right to every green plant. The cannabis plant, we're not allowed that. So, this whole anti-weed law stuff is anti-religious. You needn't go so far as like Rastafarianism, really. Just say it's anti-Christian. So it's against my religion to not have cannabis and cultivate and eat it. Or what? It's offensive to my religion. I'm a confirmed Anglican, by the way. I had that done when I was 11. I don't really know why I was doing it at the moment. I sort of established a pretext for it by saying that I'm just doing it to like mock Christianity or something like that. But like, really, I don't think I was. I think I was like kind of a little bit intrigued by the whole thing. I was like, well, I'll get a bit of extra knowledge about religion. Like, this won't hurt too much. Just going with some like people from my class round to the vicar's house, round for tea with the vicar, good old Tony Watts. From the Isles of Scilly, or was it Jersey or something? Fantastic old chap he was. Lovely guy. Tea and biscuits with him and his wife, and nice little sort of chat about religion. I did this whole thing about like, do you think like Jesus was like juggling chainsaws on the cross, and all that. But yeah, I'm pretty certain that the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil is anything derived from the act of killing animals. So meat, basically, more or less, I think. And we have biblical good like source. If you ever want to pick one of these up, by the way, I'd recommend it. This is probably the best Bible to have. I've enjoyed looking through this a bit. But yeah, there it is in Genesis. I don't think it was supervened at any point in the subsequent text that one shouldn't eat meat. And every green plant, well, we certainly know about that. We have that. And as for psilocybin mushrooms, like, no, those aren't covered. Then again, like, in the ancient Middle East, how many psilocybin mushrooms were growing? And it's a Middle Eastern text, isn't it, ultimately? And it needs to be taken with a pinch of salt, because it derives from that culture probably thousands and thousands of years ago. And needs to be taken with a pinch of salt, but still, like, the banning on cannabis is because Christianity derives from Middle Eastern culture. Well, it's ultimately derives from Judaism. It's Judaism made for export, basically, is what Christianity is. Like, the embargo on cannabis, it's offensive to my culture, so I refuse to recognise it. My culture is Christian, is Christianity. So much so I say, oh God, oh Jesus, right? It's in me, like that. It's deeply within me. So, I can't can't countenance the idea that we can't cultivate and consume cannabis. It's ridiculous. Anti-Christian. It's foul. It's offensive. It's racist, actually. But it's anti-Semitic, more or less. That's clear. But an anti-psilocybin, I don't think psilocybin has much to do with the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I think there's a pretty good and I know like some people have tried to make that claim. I think it's a pretty erroneous claim. It's pretty counterproductive. But furthermore, the attempt to ban anything, like any plant, fungus, or animal product, well, you're trying to usurp the power of the Almighty, aren't you? And you're trying to like break the first commandment of "Thou shalt not have no other gods before me." And trying to say, well, you're trying to take the power of God and place Satan, aren't you? We all know what happened to Satan. He gets cast down into hell. So that's where you ought to end up. If you continue doing it, that's where you will end up. You know, you can't break the first commandment. That's the big one. You know, thou shalt know of God's before me. Is like, what, you're before God, are you? And you want the power of God. You want to be God. Wow. You can't, for one thing, because you can't create a universe. God can, clearly. And God's going to give you a pretty fucking rough time. Or rather, his henchman Satan's going to give you a pretty rough time. So there's that to think about, I think. You know, we're entitled to grow cannabis, of course we fucking are. How dare you suggest we're not? Racist scumbags. Making this shit illegal. Cannabis, fuck off. How dare you. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I just want to make a quick point about that. A little bit of theology there, I think. A little bit of biblical interpretation. Yeah, and God bless. Be at peace. Walk with the shepherd. Ideally be the shepherd. Can and shepherd the weak for the valley of darkness. What have you. Thank you everyone for watching. Bye bye. I love you lots.